Hey everybody, welcome to a new tiny series I'm going to be starting. It's going to be called the Tutorials series. I'm going to be giving you guys tutorials on how to do stuff in the game if you're a little newbie or you want to do stuff better. Now today we're going to be doing a docking tutorial. Now disclaimer, this is the way how I dock. If the way that I dock, if you try it and it doesn't work, then just watch the SFS tutorial docking tutorial and do it that way, or keep docking until you find your own way to do it, because the way I do it is my own way how I did it. So now along the way I'm gonna be telling you what I recommend usually. I'm not a pro, so don't really, I don't know, you can try out your own things, but generally this is what you should know. So let's just get started with the build. So this rocket that I made is the Soyuz 4.0. Yes, I had the Soyuz 2.0, the Soyuz 3.0. The Soyuz 4.0 is this one, and I have to say, bro, I had to fix so much on this rocket because this thing always had a problem. Something never worked, but now I checked every part on this rocket before starting this recording. Now she works perfectly. So I'm going to be talking to Vostok Station, the big station here, which is about 200 kilometers high. So now let's talk about how to dock. This video is going to be uncut, by the way, so you can not worry about any cuts. So how I dock is usually I select the space station that I want to go to with the navigate to button, which you can do. So currently here you can see end navigation for this button. And then for the Vostok space station, I usually go for a height of 75 kilometers. And we always want to have usually 40, 50, or 30, or 20 a kilometer space in between whatever you want to dock. So now the lowest and highest point I recommend to put a space station, the lowest I recommend is 50, and the highest I recommend is 300. Because at under 50, it's just gonna be hard in general to dock, because you're gonna have to stick very close to the atmosphere. You have very little wiggle room. 300 over 300, it's gonna be too hard. It's gonna be too high up. You're gonna have to burn too much, and by the time you get there, you're just too slow, and it's just not gonna be good enough. Don't explode. Gonna kill the breeze. So how I generally dock is I do one single burn. So I'm gonna be finishing my orbit burn. So I'm gonna separate my fairings. This is the Soyuz rocket that I made. It's very fun. I'm proud of it. So now go up to the spot that I wanna be. And you usually wanna start your burn a bit ahead of your apoapsis. So you have the apoapsis ahead of you. About here is good. You wanna be facing a bit downwards. And boom. That's perfect, right? And yeah, so if you're gonna have a space station at about an altitude of 50 kilometers, then you're gonna wanna go up to 40 kilometers and then burn to the space station. Now it's easier to dock the space stations that are in low Earth orbit. This space station is in transfer orbit. It's kind of the medium orbit. So let me just separate real quick. Okay. So now I'm gonna just make sure to focus your rocket if you want to dock, so you don't lose track of it and accidentally miss the transfer window. And this is the most important part. Never. So if you want to go to whatever space station you want to go to, you want to make sure that that space station, the higher up it is, the more time you let it pass over you. So as Vostok station, the launch pad is right here, ST1. I would want to have it about close to the equator of the planet, because this is the North Pole, the South Pole, and you have the equator. And I wanted to have it close to the equator because now look how close I am to the transfer window. And make sure that you never want to transfer when the game recommends you for a transfer window to pass over the orbit of what you want to dock to, and then come back down, because you have a risk to crash into the space station or just miss it completely, and you don't want to take that. The way I do it, it's also a bit risky, but it's more safe. And every time if you do the same thing that I do, and the transfer orbit, you should always have it at 0 meters per second, because that means you're gonna have a perfect encounter. You're not gonna crash into the space station, and you're gonna be going at just the right speed to catch up with the space station. So now I just entered it. So I just now I'm in the transfer window, and I boost. And now look at this. I'm gonna have the meters per second at exactly 0%. And you don't want to have it 0.0 plus, because that's still not good. So what I'm gonna be doing now. So look carefully. I have this is perfectly. So I have a perfect encounter now. So what you want to do is remember to have the rocket focused, and then time warp. Never time warp with 1,000 or 500. You want to have it at 100, because if you have to quickly untime warp, you have the time to do it. So at about this point, you will, at about closely around this type of point, whatever you have your space station and altitude set on, you want to turn away from the space station, because you see, you're still slower than the space station. It's going to catch up to you. So now, if you look closely, look, the space station is catching up to me. So at about this point, I want to be looking out. And look at that, that's the space station right there. I'm gonna burn until I see the space station stop. Okay, the space station has stopped. I'm gonna turn around. What you wanna do is turn around perfectly away from this arrow. Wanna burn shortly at 100% towards the space station, and then turn back around. And you can time warp a bit there. Don't time warp above 25, because it could glitch the game out if you're this close to the space station. Or just don't, because you may hit it. So like that. So I'm gonna be looking up. Well, I didn't do it perfectly, but anyways, I'm gonna be turning off the engine, so I'm not gonna propel myself accidentally into the space station. I'm now gonna use the RCS only. Make sure to have a lot of fuel, because if you're like me and you're not perfect at docking, oh my god, why are you doing this now to me? Just go up. There you go. So I'm already gonna turn sideways, because that's the docking port I'm gonna have to dock to. I'm gonna turn back the antenna, because I don't need it. And it always overreacts. Okay. Boost this way. Start boosting down. Start boosting down. So I already detached one Soyuz and brought it back to Earth. I brought the crew back to Earth. So now I have space to dock to this one, and make sure that the spot you're gonna dock to has enough space for you to dock, because this docking port that I'm gonna dock to has just enough space to dock to it. Now I don't know why my spacecraft is going down so hard. It takes so much. Hope I gotta clean the screen real quick. There you go. Just have to clean the screen real quick, because I had something on it. Okay, boost a bit forward. Make sure to boost a bit back. There we go. And also remember, you can do it however you want. You can do it how SFS recommends it to you. You can do it your own way, how I do it. It was just a single burn, and I'm already at the space station. And make sure to add something to your space station that makes you see it easy. So these colors for the modules, this silver color, is what you want to add, because it's easy to see it in the black background. Because if I made it black as the top part of the Soyuz, I couldn't see it. It would be very hard to see, because the background is black, because we're in space. So do the last adjustments, and you can see I fit perfectly. Make sure you also have this same size docking ports. If you play the free version without DLCs, you don't have to worry about that, because you only have one size docking port. So you just want to slowly go. And remember that docking ports are magnetic, so if you're getting close to them, they're actually going to attract each other. Make sure to turn off RCS. and boom, that's a dock. You just did it. You just docked to a space station. Isn't that cool? So I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. Next tutorial I'm going to be doing is a tutorial on how to get to the moon easily, land, and come back to Earth. And I'm going to have some cuts in it because I'm not going to want to have it too long because this video is like 1 minute and 20 seconds long. But make sure to check out my Instagram, leave a like, subscribe. If you subscribe, hey, you might get a free Soyuz. Maybe, but maybe not. I don't know. I'm not gonna BP. I do not know how to BP share, blueprint share. So I don't know if you're gonna get a free Soyuz. You can just try and build it yourself. I don't know. Yeah. And if you want to get a shout out at the end of your comment, write I have a cookie. And this was Abstract Aristotle signing out. I hope this tutorial helped you out in any way. Peace.